Am I the butthole? World Layabout says, am I the buttholer for demanding my parents not include my adopted siblings when we go out to dinner for my birthday? 5 years ago, my 15 male parents adopted 2 of my siblings. I'll call them Cassandra 17 female and Layla 15 female. 2 years ago, Luke 2 male, their biological younger brother, absolute light of my life, best boy, was born and surrendered, so he was placed with us too. Since they were adopted as preteens, a major priority for my parents was bonding with them 2 on 3. And they go to a lot of bonding things. They're constantly bouncing between adoption therapy, family therapy, which feels weird, because I'm also part of the family. I'm only included once in a while, usually to be told I need to be less of a show off, and every single bonding thing they can find. They also take them out after individual therapy, which I 100% support, and would never admit to being jealous of IRL, but God, I'm jealous of it. I know it's not the same, but I had 6 bouts over the summer, and it was a miracle that they attended too. Which did not include the last fight or the family day. At least come for the catharsis of seeing me get whacked with a sword. Sometimes circumstances demand that I'm there, and I moved my schedule to make this happen more often. At first they let me hang to the side, but then they asked that I step back so I'm not engaging with whatever it is they're doing with my sisters, because the bonding activities are supposed to be for them. Last night, I told my parents that I wanted them to do things with me, alone. That they were wildly favoring my siblings over me, and I wanted to have dinner on my birthday with only them. They didn't take it well, and threatened to send me to therapy. We ate in silence for a few minutes. I tried to tell them I won the season-long bracket, and they emphasized how much it was not a time to be bragging or doing anything except apologizing. They said my siblings are traumatized and in need of more support. They also accused me of believing my siblings aren't real just because I wanted to have some time with my parents where it wasn't about my siblings. After dinner, Layla said she thought it was a good idea and suggested we go out as a family, but paying attention to me in particular for the whole week. That sounds incredibly embarrassing but amazing. I'd adore that, especially since I want to hang out with my sisters more anyway. Cassandra, though, pulled me aside and said that I had always been a spoiled asshole, but that this was like a healthy man demanding stitches from a poorly stocked first aid kit because everyone else had them and he wanted to feel special. She said I should take a step back and realize that that was an awful thing to ask. I'm split between wanting to run away so my family doesn't have to deal with me and sinking into the comfort of self-pity. I just want my own parents, or my own siblings or somebody, to genuinely care about how I feel, or be glad when I do something. Demonoff Sarala says, NTA trauma healing is not a poorly stocked first aid kit where supplies only go to those most in need. Requesting one B-day dinner with only your parents so you guys can chat is not a rude thing to ask. It's not like you were expecting every week or something, just one meal out of the whole year. You are allowed to feel ignored and want to be acknowledged at least sometimes. I mean, they're also allowed to say no, they can't make it happen, since they would be footing the bill I assume, but I don't get that whole apologize for having feelings and needs reaction. Maybe take them up on the offer to go to therapy and tell your therapist you feel ignored and that you feel that your emotional needs for validation aren't being met. They could likely offer you quality advice about how to handle the situation, give you advice on things like what to say and how to tell your parents. Therapists can be an amazing resource to talk to about how to navigate social situations and how to effectively communicate your needs to others in a healthy way. Because yes, your siblings have needs, but your needs and feelings matter too. Everyone matters. There's no need for the trauma Olympics because seriously? My parents were abusively neglectful and had 5 kids, but I still got only me time with each of my parents. It was rare, but like it was there. Random Coffee Thoughts says, You absolutely deserve someone, one time with your parents. I get it, they are trying to make up for your sister's horrible start in life, but at what point will they realize that during that time, they have completely ignored your needs in the process? If they allow you to go to personal therapy, go. Navigate this situation with a therapist. Layla is amazing, and has probably played second fiddle to Cassandra for quite some time. Cassandra obviously wants the majority of the attention on her. I'd recommend bonding with Layla if you can. Do you have relatives that live nearby? See if you can visit them a couple of weekends. Get away from the chaos at home. I'm going to assume most of your family don't know the dynamics at home. Just because you were born into a couple that is married, doesn't make you less deserving of attention, praise, and love from them. Your parents clearly have some sort of savior complex going on, and won't realize how much they know about you until you're off to college and you don't come home for the holidays. They'll be shocked and have no idea why. NTA, and I hope things get better for you. Anonymous Canadian says, yes, if the op has grandparents and uncles, maybe they can be the grown-up/role models that the op's parents are failing to be. Dramatic Attempt 4318 says, you're NTA. I do not mean this condescendingly, but as a statement of fact. You are a child. You deserve to have parents who are present and engaged in your life. What your parents do for your adoptive siblings is admirable. It sounds like they are genuinely doing their best for those kids. But it does not mean they can sacrifice you or your needs, or that your needs are less important or a lesser priority. There might be an argument for if there was a bad day and a parent had to rain check something to deal with someone navigating something big, but that isn't the case here. This is a clear pattern of behavior, and you are asking your parents to be present in your life individually. It speaks a lot to your character that you r/am I the butthole? Ijaga00 says, am I the butthole for going to my grandfather's funeral, even when my father doesn't want me to? I 23 female, don't really talk that much with my father 52 male, because of his wife, 45 I think. We have a long history of not liking each other. I have basically been my father's wife, confidant and her psychologist, since I was 13 years old. I have been listening non-stop about how my mother was a bad mother for asking for child support, how she was not with us, she was a single mom working to feed 4 children, when my father was paying €400 a month for the 4 of us. I have heard her complain about my father in every possible way, even in sexual ways, when I was 15 over 16. I have heard her say that we, the children, were the reason if they ever got divorced. The situation got so bad that I was failing school non-stop because all I was thinking about was the situation I had with her at my father's home, to the point that I have panic attacks because of it. Around 1 year ago, we had a big argument, her and I left my father's house and did not step foot in it one time because of Christmas, and my sister begged me. I don't really want to have anything to do with her, as in our last argument, she basically exited my brother and I from my father's home, because I didn't want to listen to her talk bad once more about my sister and my family. I simply told her that I don't care, that I heard enough of her talking about every single thing that every single person in my family has done to her. She has a notebook, like a diary, where she puts everything that she has done for us, like staying one more night because of my grandmother's death, or picking us up from high school when my father was working. She also points out the wrongs that we did, like stepping up for my mother, going out late, or talking back when we were teenagers. Well, in summary, my grandfather just died, and I need to go to another country to be able to assist to his funeral. As soon as I was told about the news, I called my father to ask how he was, and that I wanted to go to the funeral. My father didn't really want to talk, but well, essentially, my sister told me that my father doesn't know what to do because her wife has told him that if I were to go to my grandfather's funeral, she wouldn't go. Essentially, she is putting my father in a place to choose between bringing her daughter or her wife to his father's funeral. I'm really disappointed about this, not just because she is putting my father in this bad of a situation at a very low point in his life, but because my father said that this is his father's funeral and his wife's, suggesting that I should not go to my grandfather's funeral. I don't really know what to do. I don't want to cause a family drama in this situation, because it is not about whether we are good friends or not, but I think I have the right to go to my grandfather's funeral, whether she goes or not, because I don't care. Am I the buttholer for wanting to go even though it cause? Squirrelsa Evil 2479 says. NTA. It is not your decision to make about whether or not she attends. You are not responsible for her choices. It's a tragic time for her to be playing power games. Your father is free to attend or not attend the funeral. You should go because you want to honor your grandfather. Do not let this foul woman decide for you. They can choose what action they want to take, but they cannot control you. I'm sorry for the loss of your grandfather. Queasy Sport 7234 says. NTA. If you want to attend your grandfather's funeral, you should, otherwise you will likely regret missing it in the future. You can't control anyone's actions except your own, and you need to do the right thing for you. Your stepmother is being incredibly selfish during a difficult time for your father. But he is in control of his own choices. If he chooses not to attend his own father's funeral because of his wife, that is 100% on him. It wouldn't be your fault, and it wouldn't even be his wife's fault. He's an adult, he doesn't have to do what she says. Your father has allowed his wife to bar you from his home instead of standing up for you and his other children. He should put you first and he doesn't. He doesn't get to decide if you attend your grandfather's funeral. Beachhound 878 says. I stopped reading a long history of not liking each other. If you want to be there, then go. Your father is 52 yo, he needs to suck it up and shut up. Dutch to D85 says. NTA. The only decision you're in charge of is whether or not you want to go to the funeral. Any consequences that has, like her deciding not to go, are not on you, but totally on whoever makes those decisions. Also, I see you're 23. Are there still any minors living in that situation? If so, contact some sort of social services to have them take a look, because you can bet that another sibling has taken over the role of being bombarded about all of your mother's wrongdoing now. Stormy 111161 says. NTA. I suggest you make your own arrangements to attend your grandfather's funeral. You are 23 years old and do not need your father to bring you to the funeral. Surely you can make plane and hotel reservations on your own. Your father's wife is not entitled to forbid you from honoring your grandfather. She is not a blood relative, you are. That's all for this video. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe.